The Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol is one of the most iconic engineering marvels in the world, spanning the deep, fog-filled Avon Gorge. But since its completion in 1864, the bridge has also become a place of profound sorrow and spectral activity. Among the many spirits said to haunt the iron cables and stone piers, the most famous is the figure on the edge. The architect's heartbreak. The story of the bridge begins with tragedy. Its designer, the legendary Isambard Kingdom Brunel, died before he could ever see his masterpiece finished. Some say his spirit was the first to haunt the site, pacing the heights in a top hat, mourning the work he couldn't complete. However, the most chilling hauntings are not of the architect, but of those who followed. The girl who flew. One of the most famous legends associated with a bridge, one that blurs the line between miracle and ghost story, is that of Sarah and Henley. In 1885, after a bitter argument with her fiancé, the young woman threw herself from the bridge. Incredibly, the billowing fabric of her Victorian crinoline dress acted like a primitive parachute. The wind caught the silk and lace, slowing her fall and blowing her toward the muddy banks of the River Avon. She survived, but the psychological shadow of her leap is said to have remained. For decades, witnesses have reported seeing a young woman in 19th century clothing standing near the railings, her dress fluttering violently in a wind that no one else can feel. The figure on the edge. The most persistent haunting involves a figure known simply as the man in the trench coat. Local motorists crossing the bridge late at night, particularly when the Bristol fog, known as the Bristol Glaze, rolls in, have reported a recurring, heart-stopping sight. As they drive toward the leeward side of the bridge, the headlights catch a man standing on the very edge of the pedestrian walkway. He is usually described as wearing a dark, heavy coat and a brimmed hat, staring intently down into the blackness of the gorge. In several accounts, concerned drivers have slammed on their brakes and jumped out of their cars to stop a perceived suicide. They run toward the man, shouting for him to step back. But as they reach out to grab his arm, the figure simply steps into the air. The witnesses rush to the railing, expecting to see a body falling or hitting the water 245 feet below. Instead, there is nothing. No sound of a splash, no screaming, and no body. The man simply vanishes into the mist before he even hits the halfway point of the drop. The ghost car. It isn't just people who haunt the bridge. There are persistent reports of a phantom car from the 1920s or 30s. Drivers have reported seeing the glowing round headlights of an old-fashioned automobile approaching them from the opposite direction. As the two vehicles are about to pass, the modern driver braces for a collision or a narrow miss, only for the vintage car to veer sharply toward the edge of the bridge, passing through the iron railings as if they were smoke, and disappearing over the side. When police are called to investigate a car off the bridge, they find no broken railings, no tire marks, and no wreckage in the gorge below. The heavy atmosphere. If you walk the bridge today, especially during the blue hour of twilight, there is a palpable change in the air. Many visitors report a sudden, overwhelming feeling of despondency or a pull toward the edge that vanishes the moment they step off the bridge. Paranormal researchers suggest that because the bridge has been a site of so many real-life tragedies, the stone and iron have recorded the intense emotions of those final moments. Whether these figures are intelligent ghosts or just recordings in time, the Clifton Suspension Bridge remains a place where the boundary between the living and the dead feels as thin as a suspension cable.